I rolled back into Evergreen Shores after a week closing deals in Denver, expecting the quiet lap of the lake and the smell of fresh cedar from my custom-built home. Instead, I killed the engine in front of a smoking crater of concrete and splintered beams, and there she stood, Lorraine Vance, clipboard in one hand, fake sympathy plastered across her face like cheap foundation. "Logan, thank heavens you're back," she cooed, stepping over a chunk of what used to be my kitchen island. "We tried calling. Delinquent dues, Section 7.4, Subsection B. We had no choice but to reclaim and remove the structure for the good of the community." I popped the tab on a cold root beer, took a long sip, and let the silence stretch just long enough for her smile to twitch. "Reclaim?" I echoed, eyes on the yellow caution tape flapping in the mountain breeze. "You mean you hired some cash-only crew to bulldoze a 3-story lakeside house while I was gone? Cute." She flipped a page on her clipboard like it was the Bible. Multiple notices. Final warning. Protocol followed to the letter. As president and acting treasurer, it was my duty. Duty. Nothing says neighborly love like turning someone's dream into landfill and calling it standards. I stood up slow, brushed dust off my jeans, and pulled a folded paper from my back pocket, the one I'd been carrying for moments exactly like this. "Lori, you might have missed one tiny detail when you were playing Demolition Derby." I held the deed up so the county seal caught the light. "I bought Evergreen Shores. Every single lot, including the one your McMansion sits on. You don't manage the rules. You manage my property." Her face did that beautiful thing where smug collapses into panic in 0.2 seconds. The clipboard actually trembled. That's absurd. The HOA charter is something I let you people play with because I didn't want to deal with trash pickup and arguing about mailbox colors. I cut in, voice low and even. "You were convenient. Until you weren't." She snatched the deed, scanned it, lips moving like she could will the ink to vanish. Color drained from her face until she matched the white picket fences she loved so much. I'll call an emergency board meeting right now." "Do that," I said, taking the paper back. "And while you're at it, call a lawyer. Because you just authorized criminal damage to private property worth over $2 million on land that never belonged to you. Smile, Lori. You're about to become the poster child for why nobody trusts HOAs." By the time the sun dipped behind the peaks and painted the rubble gold, I'd already made the calls that mattered. Sheriff's deputy arrived first, boots crunching over the debris. I handed him the folder, security footage from 3 angles clearly showing Lori directing the crew, pointing, gesturing, even handing the foreman an envelope of cash. "No permits, no court order, no lien," I said. "Just her ego and a backhoe." The deputy whistled low. "This is felony territory, Mr. Reeves. She used HOA funds for an unlicensed out-of-county crew." "Paid them under the table," I confirmed. "Check the bank records once you subpoena them." I already flagged the withdrawals, just under reporting limits, always right after board meetings. Textbook structuring. Next came the county assessor with the plat map that made Lori's entire empire look like the house of cards it was. My name stamped across every parcel in bold black ink. He certified copies for the DA before the afternoon was out. Word travels fast in a place this small. By dusk, neighbors who'd spent years terrified of her endless citations started showing up at my temporary cabin across the cove. Old Mrs. Hargrove from Lot 12 brought coffee and a thumb drive. "Every meeting agenda she told us to delete," she whispered. "Notes about targeted enforcement on anyone who questioned her. Your name's highlighted next to final phase." I smiled for the first time all day. "Appreciate it. That's the kind of thing that turns civil suits into slam dunks." Lori tried to rally the board that night. I know because my security system caught her pacing her living room. My living room, technically, screaming into her phone that I was a liar with a forged document and threatening the very fabric of civilized living. The irony was thick enough to choke on. The woman who'd fined people for leaving a garden hose out overnight had just vaporized a house without a second thought. The next 72 hours were beautiful chaos. Subpoenas landed like snowflakes in winter. 2 board members tried to resign. The court froze everything. The sheriff posted the notice himself on the community bulletin board that used to be her personal wall of shame. All HOA activities suspended. All fines void. All enforcement nullified. Lori showed up at my cabin the morning after her arrest, makeup running, pearls askew, still clutching that damn clipboard like a life raft. "This is harassment," she hissed. "You're destroying everything we built." I leaned against the porch rail, lake breeze ruffling my shirt. Built? Lori, you didn't build anything. You just weaponized a few paragraphs of bylaws to play dictator. And now those same bylaws are the rope you're hanging yourself with. You cited me for unauthorized absence while I was working, then used my own money to pay the crew that wrecked my house. That's not enforcement. That's theft with extra steps. The DA's office didn't need much more. Footage. Bank records showing her miscellaneous community expenses included laser treatments in Aspen and a board retreat in Maui. Testimony from the demo crew who admitted she told them the house was condemned and the owner had fled the country. The judge, a no-nonsense woman who'd seen every HOA horror story, didn't even let Lori's lawyer finish his opening statement. "Ma'am," the judge said, staring straight at Lori, "you cannot cite chapter and verse to justify grand larceny. Property law trumps your little club rules every single time. Guilty on all counts. 6 years. No parole for 3. The rest of the board got fines, restitution, and the kind of probation that follows you forever." Lori didn't cry in court. She just sat there, staring at the table like it had personally betrayed her. The same woman who once lectured me about respecting the collective good was now learning what collective justice actually feels like. The court-appointed receiver wrapped things up clean. Final vote. 94% of homeowners chose to dissolve the HOA entirely. The fancy entrance sign that once read Evergreen Shores, a community of excellence, came down the next week. In its place, a simple wooden post, private homes. No rules. No Karen. I stood at the edge of the new foundation while the crew poured concrete for the house that would be twice as good, floor-to-ceiling glass, solar everything, and a dock big enough for the whole neighborhood to fish from. Neighbors brought beer, stories, and apologies for staying quiet too long. The guy who used to get fined for his truck color helped me run electrical. The couple with the illegal solar panels invited me to their first barbecue in years. That Saturday we lit a bonfire down by the lake. Old citation letters, faded warning signs, and one very expensive clipboard went up in flames while someone played guitar and kids roasted marshmallows. No one cheered when the clipboard curled into ash. They didn't have to. The silence was satisfaction enough. I stepped away from the fire for a moment, lake water lapping at my boots, stars thick overhead. The mountains felt bigger without the weight of fake authority pressing down. Real community isn't rules on a clipboard. It's people choosing to be decent when no one's forcing them. So tell me, true or false, was the guy who secretly owned everything and let the HOA play their games the real villain, or was the power-hungry Karen, who thought a few bylaws made her queen, the one who finally got the karma she spent years handing out to everyone else?